Well, folks, thanks to the ability of this camera not to be able to turn around from one mode to the other, front to back camera, that's the best picture you're going to get. I am here at High Rock, which is in Point Pleasant, Pennsylvania. And it's a pretty cool place. It's a guy named Ralph Stover, many, many years ago. Not sure, probably over 100 years ago, owned a lot of this land. And he donated it to the county. Oh, doggy! I left mine in the car. I didn't want to get tripped. He's a 7-pound Chihuahua, and the only way to walk him here is to leave him off leash.
Yep.
Oh, look at this. Oh my goodness, you're excited.
Yes.
No. No.
There you go.
Ah, that's better. Yeah, I'm the lead dog. I just bit you, didn't I? Yeah, that's what that is. Cesar Millan came up with that. It basically mimics another dog's mouth.
Interesting.
And dogs in packs don't have it's okay. They don't have do that.
Yeah.
They just say, don't do it.
Right.
And that's the way they tell another dog in the pack to not do something.
Right.
Well, you'll see where a dog will push a dog to the ground and they're actually just kind of holding it down with their teeth. And if the dog doesn't cooperate, then he gets bit.
Yeah.
Right.
He gets that a lot.
And it
Hey.
works really good with regular dogs to sort of say, hey, I'm the boss.
Yeah.
What is this, a Border Collie mix?
Yes. Border Collie, Golden Retriever, and Poodle.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh, they're good. All good, intelligent dogs at least.
Yes.
Oh, I wouldn't let her do that.
Yeah.
He's ready to.
Oh,
Matt,
He's ready to rock.
sit.
he's a pretty dog.
Thank
I always thought you were going to say collie or husky because of the one
Right.
white
well,
eye.
I think
Yes.
or Australian
Yeah.
Shepherd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I can show you a picture. I'm videoing right now, but I have pictures in the phone of puppies that were born from a Chihuahua that was 10 pounds, and the dad was bigger than her,
Jeez.
and it was an Australian Shepherd mix. And you should see what the puppies look like. And father actually had a line split down the middle of his face, one color on one side,
Amazing.
one color on the other side. And and he even had a mark above the eyes that was the two colors reversed.
Yeah.
One of the puppies had the exact same pattern.
Wow.
So we knew damn well who was the dad.
That's
Yeah.
so funny.
They're somewhere here in Chester. I was in North Carolina when they were born, but the place that placed them brings them up here because up here we fix our dogs. There's a lot less puppies. Down there
Right.
they don't.
Right.
Right.
So they would get the puppies from there, and they literally gave all those puppies away from what they looked like, because they're crazy looking. Up here,
Just
just from the pictures, all of them $400 a pop. They would
Wow.
sell the puppies, and then they'd use the money if they had like a dachshund with a broken leg or broken back, and they'd make a little sulky.
Right.
And they'd place them too,
Right.
but they used the money they would get from the puppies to maintain everything else,
Wow.
which was cool.
Very cool.
I would freak out if I saw that one dog here. I'd recognize him in a heartbeat.
That's so cool.
That pattern on his face was so distinctive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was the one out of all of them I wanted to keep.
Oh.
And his coat was like almost like an oatmeal color.
Mm.
And then he had little dark spots all over it. It looked like an oatmeal cookie.
Oh.
He was a cool little dog. But I think they took him to Chester, but you never know. You could run into him. I've been living down there for the last 10 years, but I'm moving now again,
Yeah.
all the way to the Philippines.
No kidding.
Yeah, well, I was just talking to my girlfriend. I wanted to shoot some video. I'm blogging my entire trip from North Carolina to upstate New York to here to Jersey to North Carolina and then to California and stopping all along the way. And I'm tent camping the whole way out of a Prius and a custom built trailer I built that opens up into a 10 by 10 platform.
Wow.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I'm still getting 27 miles to the gallon basically towing a camper.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
That's so
Check
cool.
me out on YouTube because I need viewers. It's called I'm Lost in Translation, but you change the the I in I'm to a number 1 M without the little mark. Should come up quickly. You'll see a little brown Chihuahua.
Got it.
That's my pup.
Awesome.
Check it out.
I'd appreciate it. I'm trying to get a company. I don't want to say it on the blog. Try to get them to ship me a car to use in videos.
That'd be nice.
And they're in Albuquerque, New Mexico. I plan to stop there on the way.
Awesome.
And I've actually been in contact with the manufacturer of the tent, which is along the way. And when they found out what I was doing, they were like, ooh. Because what I built, it's actually a custom built trailer I built. Is an idea I've had for 30 years and
Wow.
just finally built one.
That's so cool.
Because I needed a mobile house
Right.
that I could park wherever I wanted and could tow with a Prius, because I got to deliver the Prius to my aunt in California before I jump on a plane.
Right. Wow.
I inherited a 100,000-mile Prius, which is like a brand new car, really, a Toyota. And they need a car, and I don't need the car once I get on the plane, so I was like, well, here.
That's so nice.
Well, you have a good day.
You too.
And look for yourself on YouTube. You'll end up on YouTube. Ah. Ah. Yeah, there are a couple walking there. Very attractive young dog. Oh. Well, let's walk down here. These areas pretty cool. Now they have a lot of fences and railings here, but when I was a kid there was nothing, just like here. And you could literally go right off. And my girlfriend in the Philippines cannot see this place except through video. So I walked her through on Facebook video chat showing her. Now I'm walking back the other way to have some video to put on the blog. This won't be that long, maybe about a 10-minute video altogether. Less if I stop being a martiste. If you don't know what that means, it's the Visaya word for someone who clucks like a chicken. In other words, someone that talks too much, which I definitely do. Ooh, almost tripped. It's tricky to walk here. It's not easier without holding a camera. It's a lovely little place. Can't be here after dark, although when I was in high school, we used to come up here and drink at night. And then they kind of changed it around where it's just like a proper, I think the state park, maybe, or whatever is designated. It's been set aside that no one will ever build any houses here. And there's all different places you can walk down and hang out at the cliffs. People climb here. I climbed it once just before I went into the military in 1978. It scared the shit out of me and I never did it again. I don't like heights. When a friend of mine convinced me to do it, I was going to the Army. I figured, what the hell? Might as well do it at least once before I go. It's beautiful here, and there's no houses built. He owns all the land, so that you'll never see a house here or any buildings. There is a small road down there, but it's an access road for like the ambulances and fire trucks pulling bodies out. And at least one guy when I was in high school died here falling off drinking. Because people used to have, back then, there was no regulations here. You could just come up here and do whatever you want. When I was a kid, the first time I ever came here, I was probably 3 or 4 years old, like 1963, 64. And the only vehicles that could even get in here was a bunch of Harleys and a Jeep sitting up there on the road, and you couldn't even, we had a Ford van, 1961 E100, and or they called it Econoline at that time, and with the engine between the front seats deal, kind of a cool old vans. Great in the winter when your butt was cold, you sat on that engine box, and we couldn't drive in here with it. We had to walk in from the other road because it was, now they've got railings here. They didn't have this when I was younger. These railings came in probably around 1980. The people would sit up right here and a couple of the other spots and drink and fall off. And it's a pretty good drop from here. Some idiot done a bunch of graffiti. That's unfortunate. As you can see, it's the Tohican Creek down here. And it's kind of annoying they put this fence so high, it's difficult to shoot any video. But basically the creek comes in from over here, and it comes through and it hits this knoll here, and basically did a curve like a horseshoe around back a little bit and then down to the Delaware River. And cut this cliff out, I guess, over time. But like I said, when I was young, none of this was here. This is just trails. And you can see there's places where there's very steep drops right next to where the trails would be anyway. They didn't change the trails. They probably added a few and cleaned them up a little bit. They're easier to walk on than before. But they've added gravel. Because typically you'd come up here and it was rather difficult to walk. But you would come here and there'd be cases of beer sitting in these trees and people throwing the cases of beer over. A beautiful little spot though to just come and hang out with a girlfriend or whatever. That's why I brought myself here to show my girlfriend in the Philippines, Helen, and she loved it. Really wish she could be here. She thought it was scary, which it is. But it's a cool place. Oh, here I can see the cliff from here better. It'd be nice if I could go over there. But there's the cliff. And there's a few people walking around. How you doing?
I get those things, and it'll be like how stressful.
Oh. I think it was probably at least 1970, 1975 before you could kind of come up here and actually drive up the road with a car. They improved it enough to get up in a car. In about probably 85 when they started putting in the railings because too many people were falling and getting killed. A lot of people used to free climb here quite a bit. I free climbed it one time, and that was enough for me. Now I got to figure out an easier way to get down here. Oop! I'm wearing freaking Crocs without socks. They're like grease inside. I should not have tried to come up here with these shoes. Luckily, they're tight enough if you're not sliding around too much. And we're at 12 minutes. I thought it would be done by now. We're still a little ways till we get to the end of it. And you see, and the trails were like this, right up against the cliff like this when I was a kid. And I've never been a big drinker, but a lot of guys used to come up here and hang out, especially right here, and drink. Back then, they didn't have any regulations on that. Now, a completely different story. I lost at least one friend in high school that fell off here. Oh, I'm blogging to YouTube. Look for yourself. You'll show up on a channel called I'm Lost in Translation, but spell the I in I'm with a number 1. Okay. And you'll see it. First time I ever came here, there was none of this. No. In fact, you couldn't even get down that road unless you had a motorcycle or a 4-wheel drive.
Oh, is that right?
There was nothing but Harleys and a couple of Jeeps sitting up there, and I was yay big and almost ran right off the damn cliff. Somebody grabbed me because I was running down to it. Oh, this is the steep trail here. Oh, still better. They really did a lot improving adding gravel and things to be able to walk here, because it was really hard before. I could see there's gravel here. This wasn't never here. It wasn't gravel like this. It was just dirt, and the rain would wash the place out really bad off the dirt, not the rocks. And there was places where you'd have to climb up like 4 feet over a rock to get through. And I haven't seen that at all here. Matter of fact, somebody on a cane could probably come down here reasonably easily. You ain't gonna get a wheelchair down here. Not very good. When they put these railings up, it would have been nice if they put them a little further out so you can get a decent picture. But I don't think they were thinking about that shit when they built them. Oop. Stump. I get looking at the camera, not looking where I'm walking. But this is in Bucks County, Pennsylvania, just near the town of Point Pleasant, and it's called High Rock. And kind of a really cool spot. Yeah, I was just a little bigger than that the first time I came here. Actually, there we go. There I am. That's how big I was when I first came here. Oh. How you doing?
Hey.
First time here at all?
Yeah, it is.
First time I came here, I was that big.
Oh, really?
And none of this was here.
Oh,
I
really?
bet.
Yeah. When I was in high school, we'd come up here and drink.
Oh, really?
And too many people went off the
Oh,
cliff.
did they?
In fact, it was super common to see a case of beer, empty cases down in the trees where people had thrown them over.
Oh, really?
Yeah. A long time. Back then, you couldn't get in here if you didn't have a motorcycle or a Jeep.
Oh, really?
And the first time here, it was nothing but bikers and a couple Jeeps up there on the road. We had to walk in. We had an old 63, I think it was, Ford van. I had to park and walk in from the road where the bridge is no longer working. That worked back then. And we parked there and walked in like about a half a mile down the road just to get in here. Yeah.
Amazing.
Oh, yeah, but the cliff really hasn't changed except for the railings. It would have been nice if they'd have put some of it further, like here, so you could actually get down closer and see. Because these rocks, they ain't going nowhere. They're not falling down.
Yeah.
Where y'all from?
England.
Oh, England. I was going to guess Australia, but it didn't sound quite right for Australia.
Yeah.
Watch for yourself. You'll end up on a blog called I'm Lost in Translation on
Oh, really?
YouTube. You change the one or the I in I'm to an one M.
Okay.
Okay.
And it's separate words.
Yeah.
And it should come up reasonably quick.
I'm
And you'll
lost
see a
in
little brown Chihuahua dog. I'm actually right now traveling across America about 5,000 miles in a
wow.
Prius,
Oh,
towing a trailer that turns into a platform for a tent,
right.
and still getting almost 30 miles to the gallon.
Oh, nice.
And it's a 10 by 10 tent. So basically, I got like a little cabin wherever I go.
Yeah.
I built myself just a few months ago,
Oh, that's
or finished it literally 2 weeks ago.
That's
And
cool.
it just took off. And I took off so quickly. I didn't plan much of what goes in. I've got a ton of junk. You want some canned goods? I got like 50 pounds of cans, and I'm like, damn, I don't need this. I don't eat cans all that often. I took them because I had them, and then realized I'm like, my God, it's like 50 pounds of crap I got to move every time I set up. I got to
Every
empty
time.
the trailer completely out,
Ah,
set it all up, and then pick it all back up again, put it back in. It's not like a camping trailer where everything's sort of in there already,
Yeah.
and all you do is park it.
yeah.
This one, it takes like an hour and a half to set it up. But once you're set up, it's not made for quick setup. It's
Yeah.
made for moving along and then hanging someplace for 3 or 4 days, and then moving on to the next place 3, 4, 5 days. But I'm gonna hit the Grand Canyon and a bunch of other stuff
Oh,
on
that
the way.
sounds fun.
And I'll be blogging from the Philippines too,
Oh, wow.
which is where I'm eventually ending up.
Oh, wow. That's
Yeah.
amazing.
So are you from here?
I'm from here in Bucks County. My family actually dates back in America to the 1690s. If you look up North Wales, Pennsylvania, we named it. There's a group of houses over there that, bizarrely enough, when I was going to high school, would drive right through the area. And I always thought it was kind of odd because in Pennsylvania, usually farmhouses are reasonably far apart. These are all very close together, big stone farmhouses. What it turned out to be, and one of the houses was sort of a rundown, and it wasn't big like the others. Turned out, and get this, when you're in school and you don't have money and you don't have your own place, I would go by that place thinking, man, it's a shame that's going to waste because, man, I own that. I could have parties there and all this. Guess what it turned out to be? The original family homestead.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and that's bizarre. I didn't find that out for like 30 years. My mom did research. Look up Morgan Log Home. It'll pop up. The Morgan Dollar, that's us.
Okay.
Half the Morgan towns in this area, and Morgan towns are Morganton. It's all us.
Oh, wow.
Henry Pierpont Morgan, the railroad barons in the family tree. Abraham Lincoln, Daniel Boone, George Clymer. You ever hear of him?
No.
If you ask me for my John Hancock, which is a signature, here they all people say, give me your John Hancock.
John Hancock.
George Clymer is actually a statue next to Independence Hall. It's the signing of the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution, and my 6th great grandfather.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Lot of
So I offer people my George Clymer, and almost everybody that I ever do it to goes, huh? Nobody's heard of him, but anytime you watch stuff on them working out the Declaration of Independence,
Right.
there's always a George that gets up and speaks, but they never use his last name.
Ah, right.
Yeah, and I suspect if there's only one George, there's our George.
Who's-
Like in the Nicolas Cage movies, the National Treasures,
Oh, yeah.
where they hide behind a statue,
Yeah.
that's my 6th great grandfather. And also a very bad place to hide, frankly. If you ever go there, you'll realize it worked good in the video, but he's literally standing out in an area that's like 50 by 50 with a statue in the middle of it, no cover at all. Oh, I'm lost in translation. You change just the I and I'm. You don't use the little mark, whatever they call it. You just go one M,
Yeah.
and they're separate words. You'll see a little brown chihuahua.
Lost in translation.
I'm lost in translation. It actually comes from the fact that my girlfriend speaks Visaya and English, and the Philippine people overanalyze what we say in English. Like in England, you do speak English. In America, we do not. We speak American, just like in Australia, they speak Australian. It's not the same. And they overanalyze it to the point where I had sent her what I consider a mild love song, which is "Thank you for being a friend." And she comes back with, "Oh, you only want to be my friend?" I'm like, "Oh, Jesus Christ." So I had to like sort of backpedal and explain it all to her. I've sent her blues music and she doesn't get blues. And explaining what blues really is, you know, that it's kind of funny. There's all kind of translational stuff. So I came up with the name of the channel based on that. Yeah. But check me out and subscribe. I need subscribers. I got like 5 people watching right now. I hope by the time I get to California, which is going to be 5,000 miles from here, by the time I get there, that I'll have a few more. Oh, yeah, John, there we go. Yep, artisting again. Oh, my. I would have been already back to the car if I had kept my mouth shut. I can't resist talking. Sorry, folks. I should have. I don't have my mic with me. I left my mic in the camera, in the phone, or in the in the camper, because I hadn't really been doing a lot of this, and now I'm starting to do it. Oh, prickers. Okay, I think we are pretty much. Well, no, not past the cliff yet. It's a good, I guess, about 100 yards of upper cliff that are reasonably accessible, and this is a nice, cool spot here if you ever plan to visit Bucks County. And Bucks County has a lot of historic stuff here. There's like every other house George Washington slept in. I grew up in at the time, 240-year-old farmhouse, which I'm going to be... I shot some video there the other day. I forget if I already uploaded it or not. But it's pretty... Oh, geez, I'm moving. It's some cool stuff here, the way this all plays out. And these rocks are very stable. They're not going anywhere. They're not falling down. So it's safe to... People come up here and climb. I free climbed it once myself. Well, I said that already. And like a bunch of Japanese folks. Be cool if they were from the Philippines. Kind of hard for me to tell the difference. It's very similar in appearance. How you doing? Like a whole family walking through, and you can see that she's using them sticks. Kind of needed. Not as much there, but she might have some issues with legs. Okay, I think we are past where the railings are, which means the seeing the cliff of any constant is gone. So we're going to head back up to the parking area. And I will stop the video up at the parking area where my very angry little chihuahua is in the car. I didn't have the time to take him down here. He runs back and forth under your feet too much and went and trip at me. The only way to walk them here is to leave them off leash, and you're not allowed to do that here. Plus, he might have jumped off the damn cliff, being all excited. He likes to run like a lunatic, which he was doing earlier. We were at another location that Ralph Stover owned, which was a mill on Dark Hollow Road, which is about 3 or 4 miles from here. He owned a lot of land. He owned probably quite a few thousand acres. I don't know how far back if he got his land from Penn. Myself, our family, we were one of the original Quaker families that Penn had brought over. We got here in the 1690s, and I don't know if we got granted land from Penn or he just said, "Here, go over there and set up a farm." I don't know how that worked, but it's a rather unusual area. It's in North Wales, or near edge of Lansdale. If you look up Morgan Log Home, you'll see it, but that's not the original house. It's a German-style building, and they know the foundation is part of the original building, but they were having issues with dating it, and I suggested they dig into the mortar. Back in those days, they would mix horsehair with the mortar. Now the lime and stuff may mess it up for carbon-14 dating, but I don't know if they tried or not. Last time I was over there, I know they said that some rock star had showed up for, they would do a family reunion. I don't know how often they did it, but I'll probably go over there and shoot a little blog there before I head out. I'm definitely going to be here today and possibly tomorrow as well. Wow, 20 minutes in. It'd be about 15 if I hadn't stopped and chatted. It's pretty rough here some places. But when I was younger, this was way worse. You needed hiking sticks back then just to get through. And I'm definitely wearing the wrong damn shoes here. These have tread on the bottom, but I'm not wearing socks in them. I don't know if you ever wore Crocs. Your sweat gets inside of the shoe kind of slippery. And luckily they are cooperating. I'm just looking for the trail that heads back up to the road here. I might have walked past it. I'm hoping I didn't. Well, I wish I had the time to collect some firewood. There's a ton of it here. Oop, you didn't hear that. A little backfire. Ooh, that looks like I'm falling on somebody's head soon. Surprised they haven't cut that out. That could let go at any time. Probably during a storm, it'll break loose and fall down. But they do cut the trees out, which back in the day they didn't. Nobody maintained any of this. They were just trails that people walked down to the cliff on. And I said I definitely lost at least one friend. I don't remember his name now. It's only been over 40 years that fell off this cliff drinking. And more than one person fell off this cliff that I'm aware of. That's a shame. Back in the day, there were no rules. It was kind of cooler back then, of course. It would have been really sweet if they had set up some like tent camping spots up here. It would have been really nice. Oh, Jesus, where is the dang trail out to the road? Oh, here we are. We are on the trail to the road. Okay, I think. Oh, my. Sorry, I don't have a gimbal, so the video is going to be a little shaky. This phone does have a built-in kind of gimbal, but it doesn't work very good. Yeah, there's a power line, so we must be at the road. Oh yeah, we're down. We missed the turn to go out to the road earlier. Where I came in is like right across from the parking, so I missed that turn. But it's a great place to hike around, and I've walked all the way from here down to the Delaware River, following the valley once, and it was a very nice walk. It's private land, but there's nothing there to run in. There's one house along the road, and when I was probably 10 years old, some doctor owned that house, who I believe was gay, and we watched this young guy leave in a sports car one day, and it turned out he had just murdered the guy and stole his car. And we actually watched him leave. We didn't even know it at the time. We found out later. And me and my cousin Debbie, who I haven't spoken to now in probably 30 years, they don't try to contact me much. They never liked myself because my mom married the Jew guy from New York. They liked my brother because he looked like my grandfather. That's her father. But they never liked me because I looked like my father. And they always treated me like crap. Oh man, I really did walk quite a ways down the road from where I should have turned up. On this road, when I was a kid, this was dirt and rutted up, and you literally had to walk in here. You could not drive in here unless you had a Jeep or a motorcycle. Somebody just posted something on Facebook. Oh, I've never seen the trails on this side. I don't have the. I gotta do other things, right? And the video is way too long now. 31 minutes. I'm going to get up here and get a still shot of the sign for the opening shot on the video. Oh, where the hell did that car go? They must have added another part. They never had parking on the right side of the road here. I really did walk down past the parking area, probably, I don't know, quarter mile. There's another happy doggy. How you doing? Pretty dog. Oh yeah. Yeah, all the way up where the woman's walking up there where I parked. I didn't even realize they had another parking. I know it's parking. There ain't no houses back here. They don't. It's all like state park or something. I forget what it's set up for. There's houses on that side of the road further up. Everything on this side for about probably a mile or more you can't build on. Along with the other side of it, where you can see from the cliff that it's all part of the park. He owned probably 100,000 acres in this area, or like a 10 by 10 mile area where he had mills. Ralph Stover Mill on Dark Hollow Road. I was just down there a little while ago. There's a dam we used to swim at as kids. And then they built a lake about 10 or 15 miles away called Nockamixon Lake. And the problem with the lake, right from the get-go, was the water volume coming through. It was not high enough to sort of flush out the initial debris. There was logs and stuff floating in that thing for years. And they also, the town of Quakertown, which is about 10 miles north of the lake, had been letting crap into their sewer treatment plant, was dumping stuff into the Tohickon Creek, which made the lake and everything below it toxic. Now, I just was over at the Ralph Stover Mill at the dam there, and it's still shut down. It was a little store you could buy chips and snacks and all that. Oh wow, I really did walk past the damn parking area. Holy crap. Unless I turned the wrong way. I don't think so. I hope not. I'm going to turn around all the way back. I'm about pooped right now. There's just some farm fields along here. I don't think they can build, but they do cut hay and things. So people maybe own it, but they can't build. Or at least I haven't seen any houses on this side of the road. Oh. Yeah, I think I am going the right way. I sure hope so. There's a bunch of distance. If you're bored at this point, feel free to stop watching. Because the only thing up there is the parking area, which I'm not looking right here. Like I am going the wrong direction. There's these fields. I have to get up here a little further before I can decide to turn around and go back the other way. That's going to take forever. Oh, I saw the name Stover on private property posted sign, and I thought maybe an ancestor of Ralph Stover owned it still. Man, I'm not seeing the thick woods up there. I have a feeling I turned the wrong damn way. Oh, if I did, I'm just going to stop the video here. I got to go up a little further, make sure I'm not turning around going the other way too far. That way, coming back this way, is a big walk uphill. I don't think I was down the hill when I walked down. Oh, crap. I think I really did walk the wrong direction, but at least it's downhill. Years ago, I was up here on a motorcycle, and down the end of the road here, the bike wasn't legal, and I thought I saw a cop, and I quick ducked into the woods, pulled up, and found myself right in the middle of a herd of deer, which I'd shut the bike down very quickly, and they just sort of looked up at me like, "Who the hell are you? What are you doing here? We're eating." They didn't run away. See, these fields, typically you didn't see this. There's woods all the way out to the road where the parking area is. That's why I think I turned and went the wrong way. Oh, bloody hell. Well, I'm going to pause it here. I'll turn it back on when I find the car. You don't need to sit and watch me walk down the road. All right. Until we meet again.